koala is about 60 to 85 centimeters, 24 to 33 inches, long and can weigh up to 14 kilograms, 31 pounds, in the southern part of its range, Victoria and South Australia, but only about half that in warm Queensland to the north. The body is almost hairless and gray. The chest is pale yellow or cream-colored, and the rump has spots. The wide face has a wide, round, wrinkly nose, small yellow eyes, and big, fluffy ears. The feet are strong and have sharp claws. The two innermost toes on the front feet and the innermost toe on the back feet can turn in opposite directions so that they can grab things. The koala is sometimes called the koala bear, which is wrong. This is because the animal looks like a small bear. The koala only eats the leaves of a few kinds of eucalyptus trees. Usually living alone, each bird has a home range of more than a dozen trees, but one is preferred over the rest. If there are too many koalas in a small area, they strip the leaves off of their favorite food trees and quickly die out because they can't eat even closely related species. The koala has an intestinal pouch, cecum, that is about 2 meters, 7 feet, long. This helps it digest up to 1.3 kilograms, 3 pounds, of leaves every day. In the cecum, symbiotic bacteria break down tannins and other toxic and complex chemicals found in eucalyptus. This diet isn't very nutritious and doesn't give the koala much extra energy, so it spends a lot of time just sitting or sleeping in tree forks, where it's open to the weather but warm because of its thick fur. Even though they are mostly quiet, koalas make loud, hollow grunts. The only animal in the family Phascolarctidae is the koala. Unlike the pouches of other tree-dwelling marsupials, this one opens in the back. After 34 to 36 days of pregnancy, there is only one birth. The baby, called a joey, sticks its head out of the pouch for the first time when it is about 5 months old. For up to 6 weeks, it eats a soupy, already digested eucalyptus food called pap, which it laps straight from its mother's anus. The cecum is where pap comes from. After the joey is fully weaned, it comes out of the pouch and stays on its mother's back until it is almost a year old. In the wild, a koala can live for about 15 years. In a zoo, it can live a little longer. Studies show that there are 5 groups of koalas that are different from each other. These groups began to split between 300,000 and 430,000 years ago. People used to kill a lot of koalas for their fur, especially in the 1920s and 1930s. As a result, their numbers dropped from several million to a few 100,000. This greatly reduced the genetic diversity of the species as a whole and of 4 of its 5 populations, making the species more likely to inbreed. In the southern part of their range, koalas almost went extinct, except for a single group in Gippsland, Victoria, that has a lot of different genes. Some were moved to small islands in the ocean, like Phillip Island. They did so well there that these koalas were used to repopulate a lot of their original range in Victoria and southern New South Wales. During the same time, some koalas were brought to Kangaroo Island, and in the 1950s and 1960s, more animals were brought to several other coastal areas in South Australia. Even though koalas are once again common, their populations and subpopulations are now spread out and separated by cities and farms. This makes them vulnerable to extinction in some places. Many groups are also infected with chlamydia, which makes the females unable to have children. Since 2016, the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, IUCN, has put the koala on its list of species that are in danger. Between 1984 and 2012, the number of this species dropped by almost 28%. This was mostly due to habitat loss and separation, which made the animals more likely to be hit by cars and eaten by dogs. In the late 2010s, bushfires and droughts that were very bad also hurt the number of koalas. Between 2018 and 2021, the overall number of koalas will drop by another 30%. As temperatures rise and climate change makes Australia drier, wildlife officials expect that the number of koalas will drop even more in the next few decades. 11 koala fun facts. 1. Wild Koala Day exists. Wild Koala Day is celebrated every year on May 3rd. It was started by people in Australia who care about koalas and want to protect their surroundings. 2. Koalas have fingerprints. They are the only animals besides humans that have them, and each one is unique, just like us. They also have patterns on their noses that make them easy for wildlife scientists to recognize and follow. 3. Koalas don't have to drink much water. Their name may mean no drink and was probably given to them by the Aboriginal people who have lived with them for thousands of years. In fact, koalas don't need to drink much water because the eucalyptus leaves they eat every day have a lot of water in them. Koalas can drink from creeks and water holes if they need to, but if you see one drinking, it's usually because it's in trouble. 4. Koalas smell like eucalyptus. Mature males have a stronger, more musky smell, but females and young males smell a little bit like eucalyptus, which helps keep insects away. 5. Koalas are picky eaters. There are about 700 different kinds of eucalyptus trees, but koalas usually only eat 50 of them. In fact, most koalas have between 1 and 3 types of eucalyptus trees that they eat regularly. They save the rest for rare snacks or places to rest. Even then, they will climb to the top of the biggest trees to get the best leaves, which have more water and nutrients. 6. Koalas need to eat a lot. Their main food source, eucalyptus, is poisonous, tough, and not very healthy. Even though they have an extremely long, 200 centimeters, cecum that helps them digest and break down fiber, they can only absorb about 25% of what they eat, which is why they have to eat so much. In fact, an adult koala eats about 1/2 kilogram to 1 kilogram of leaves every night. Think about how you feel after a big meal, and you'll understand why they sleep 18 to 20 hours a day. 7. Koalas have additional stuff in the trunk. You might guess that spending so much time in trees would make your bottom pretty sore. They are lucky that the end of their curved spine is made of strong cartilage, which lets them live happily in their tree homes. 8. Koalas are loners. Koalas are solitary animals that stay in their home ranges and usually don't cross the lines of other animals. Depending on their gender, age, social status, and the quality of their habitat, koalas have different sized home ranges. However, adult males have glands in the middle of their chests that secrete a dark, sticky material that they rub on trees to mark their territory. Climate change, cutting down trees, and other human actions have made koalas live closer to each other, which has caused them a lot of stress. 9. Joeys are very attached to their mothers. Since they are marsupials, their babies, called joeys, are born very early and continue to grow in their mother's pouch. These babies are deaf, blind, and have no fur. To find their way to the pouch, where they connect themselves to a teat, they use their well-developed senses of smell, touch, and direction. Once they are connected, the teat swells in their mouths, binding them to their food source so that their mother can move around. They stay in the pouch for about 6 months and then ride on her stomach or back for another 6 months or so. They stay with their mums until another joey is born, which usually takes between 1 and 3 years. 10. Koalas have strong, well-developed paws to climb trees and grip their food. Each front paw has 5 toes, and 2 of them can move separately from the others. These 2 opposing toes are like our thumbs. For cleaning, the second and third toes on their back feet are fused together. 11. Koalas are totally unique. People often think they are bears, but they are not. Their closest cousin is the wombat, which is a very long way away. And since they are the only ones left in their family, the Phascolarctidae, they are like nothing else on Earth.